Dignitas Mouse, SKO Bay. Those are the two matches we're going to take a look at this afternoon. My name's Tom. This is Anatoly Alexeyanok. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, honestly. Week number 5 of the summer split. There's 4 teams ready for some action, and so am I.
It's going to be exciting. Once again, thank you for joining us in the middle of the summertime. Down here in Atlanta, it's a little hot, and I think the matches are going to be just as hot. The summertime, we've been broadcasting Monday through Friday. SPL has been Monday through Friday, and it's been a ton of fun. Global Series you can find Tuesday through Friday, and Monday is where the console league lies. And, of course, Esports Weekly, 10 a.m. every Monday.
A lot of opinions, a lot of just predictions of what the SPL is going to happen, where we have a lot of analysts break it down, the whole little minute things, and you might see a special appearance from me as well.
The old Tolyism, certainly something that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I just yell at Finch all the time. That's pretty much what the whole show is.
Everyone pretty much yells at Finch. That's what we do.
Coming up, Dignitas versus Mouse. Dignitas has been looking really, really strong lately, but still unable to find their way in the top 1 or 2. This could be the moment. With that said, though, Mouse used to be, well, of course they're going to find their way in because, of course, this is going to be a victory. But Toly, I don't think the of course is here any longer. Mouse, a much stronger team than they used to be after a roster change.
Since switching out Spudio for Jermaine, it seems like they got a little revitalized. BigManTingz has stepped up in the mid lane. Cherryo has been making a lot of offensive plays, and this Mousesports definitely looking different.
Later on, we'll see Obey take on SK Gaming. SK Gaming still finding their struggles. Obey having some struggles of their own, although they were able to find a little bit of a reprieve there, thanks to Raffer's grudge match against Energy. But the later match should be, honestly, I'm very excited. I really want to see SK stand up because they haven't just yet.
Not quite yet, but Mouse certainly has, but it's going to be a difficult task up against Team Dignitas, a team that's not at the top the same way they were in the spring split, losing some of their matches to Energy and Arrival, but those are the only 2 teams that they really lost to. Outside of that, they've been pretty consistent.
These guys have been pretty consistent for the most part for well over a year now. The problem is when they're not consistent is when the going gets tough. When it comes time to land, they kind of falter off a little bit. These guys need to find their real stride. They started as Variety's new team, and Variety continues to sort of be a lightning rod of success for the squad.
And the way they play is normally relying on the aggression. They have 5 players that can pop off at any given moment from any lane necessary, and that's what makes Dignitas such a strong and scary team to deal with. And what also makes them even better is their ability to defend against certain occasions, but against Energy and Rival, haven't been able to defend against them, but in the previous set against Mouse in week number 2, they found the victory there. Week number 5 could be a different story with a different hunter.
It certainly could be. I mean, many different things going on for Mouse, as you mentioned, Spudio, new stuff going on, and the rest of the squad also pretty strong. Cherryo, most notably in the jungle, everybody looks at, but honestly, I've been looking at Dardez and BigManTingz more so than anybody else on this roster for the entirety of 2018.
I definitely agree with you. Those are the 2 lifeblood that you would expect to see out of Mousesports pop off, but I think that they're trying to relate a little bit more and cater towards Spudio. In some of the past sets, they've been first picking the Artemis. I'm expecting the same thing in this set, trying to get a comfort pick, try to get Arkkyl a little bit behind, try to get Spudio a little bit more ahead towards the late game.
A lot of focus on that core to the outside lanes, like you mentioned, Spudio, Nika, also a big part of what Mouse need to fix or need to improve to find their victory. Let's get right into it, though. Game number 1 of Dignitas versus Mousesports on the way. Mousesports will have the secondary option. So first ban goes to Dignitas. We've seen a lot of the healer bans come out. Cherryo very successful yesterday in his Pro League debut. So I should expect the Global Hunter to be banned out. But there's your Artemis mention.
It's definitely a good idea to get the best dueling possible. Trixtank is going to be aggressive. So is Dardez. Difficult to ban out Dardez. A lot easier to ban out Hunters for both sides.
The Thoth guy band going to be here for Dignitas. Zyrhoes, just a fantastic Thoth player. And the Global Athena banned out by Team Dignitas. I'm really curious to see if they're going to look to give Arkkyl the Cherryo.
It's possible. We've seen where Energy gave up the Cherryo to Rival in all of their games. Didn't really care too much about that, but Mousesports more concerned about the mid-global pressure than the Hunter global pressure.
I mean, these are 2 characters that you just can't give to Zyrhoes. He's one of the best players in in Europe. Arguably in North America as well in that mid lane. You got to limit his god pool, and the impact that Thoth and Giannis make are a little bit different than the impact some of the other mages make. And there you go, right? How do you say his name?
Cherryo.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he's going to be our first selection. Overall, welcome to the Smite Pro League.
Knowing Zyrhoes, that could even go in the mid lane. If Dignitas are feeling really spicy, who knows what they were practicing behind the scenes. Their first set with this god, going up against a Zhonghui and a Discordia. Surprising stuff.
I love the Zhonghui. I think Zhonghui is an underrepresented character. Now, he plays very well in the mid lane as a traditional mage, built power, also can do well in that solo side. Protections, just naturally a part of his kit, so he is a little bit tanky. And the ultimate is one of the best zoning tools in the game. He just moves at you with this carnival of souls, and you just can't deal with it. The Discordia's played the solo once or twice, but Kiki's not on the team, so I don't expect it there. Hebo and Neith, Dignitas, lining up to already find themselves in the victories.
There's going to be a lot of kills for Dignitas. If this is going to be potentially Habwa jungle, which it could be for QvoFred, you add a Neith global pressure to it. You got already 2 physical hunters. I'm expecting Neith to go in the mid lane, a little bit more pressure with the root. Easier to hit the Neith root than it is to set up the root for the Cherryo.
That's certainly true, but Zyrhoes, like you mentioned, I'm not sure he's going to be giving the Cherryo to Arkkyl. Sylvanas, the guardian of choice for Mouse, will likely see Dardez on that one. Looking at our second round of bans, though, no Sobek, no Ram. Dignitas still trying to focus out those hunters, whereas Mouse says no to the Terra. I like the Terra selection a lot, or the Terra ban, rather. Hebo Neith can really, really make use of those stones.
With those Guardian bans, this leads me to believe this could be Discordia support for Dardez, trying to get off some more magical damage. Has the CC with the Strife if you can hit off too, but with the Sylvanas already locked in,
exactly,
it's a little tricky there.
I'm with you, though. I understand the method behind the madness. Yeah. With Mouse, you are never quite sure. Jingweezy going to be the selection here in the second pass of Mouse. Nice hunter selection. This character can play carry really well and will be in and out. The Kumbhakarna across the way, though. Team Dignitas have a fantastic draft right now.
Is that all?
I like Zhang. I like Discordia. I like Jingwei, but Dignitas' draft right here is one that you kind of root for when you're looking to draft a team.
You're talking about roots. There's quite a lot of them between the Neith, the Cherryo, and also the Kumbhakarna. People are going to get isolated, and I'm really worried for Dardez if he's playing the Sylvanas. A tree is already rooted, but you add 3 more to that, it's no good.
Positive side, though, Sylvanas and Zhonghui both have heals.
Yes.
So Achilles going for the ultimate, might be juked out. Kind of nice there. And Odin going to lock down a number of these characters as well. Cherryo is going to be able to get out thanks to his ultimate. But Hebo, the character that's really going to be stopped by the Odin. That said, sometimes when you ring in Hebo, it feels like, okay, now I'm just ringed in.
If you jump on the Hebo, yeah, you're going to get knocked up as soon as you land. That's the whole goal of these competitive players. How you shut down Odin is you disrupt the bird bomb combination and you displace him before the ultimate even comes off.
Well, this one is tough. Dignitas have a draft for the ages. Is it enough to beat the Mousetrap, the up-and-comers? Let's find out. Game number 1 on the way.
Thanks a lot, Tom and Toli. Hindu and Agro joining you here for this interesting set between the two. Mousesports on the up and up. Dig coming off the back of losing to both Rival and Energy last week. Big important day for Dig and, of course, Mouse.
Very much so for Dignitas in particular. Mouse not dead for land yet, but if they were to lose this set, this would eliminate them. Dignitas, on the other hand, they're trying to catch up to Rival and Energy. They really can't afford to lose many more games.
So going into today then, let's find out who will win. Who do you guys at home think will win game 1? Probably going to be favoring the Dignitas boys, as most of us here will probably be doing so as well.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas just has historically looked so good, and Dignitas doesn't often lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. Like, against the Rivals and the Energies, those are usually pretty close. They'll lose some of those. But against the teams below them in the standings, Dignitas is very consistent against those teams, pretty much.
Let's get into game then and find out how game 1 begins. We do have a Zhonghui, which we don't see too much of. Going to be in the solo lane today, played by Nika, obviously because BigManTingz is taking the Discordia mid. Trixtank on the left-hand side, early aggression on Spudio, and he's going to eat the first bit of crystal damage from Cherryo in this game.
Cherryo, the newest character available to the SPL players, and one that I think you're going to see plenty of unless he's getting banned, because he just brings so much to team compositions. He's got great early wave clear, can box very well, fairly safe. And of course, that ultimate Living Nightmare is just so good at a competitive level.
Well, Mousesports getting an advantage on the left-hand side already. The early poke trade didn't really work out well enough for Dignitas as the pressure is now on. It's all about body blocks. Trixtank blocks in position, has to use sprint. Going to get rooted in place. Spudio there for the follow-up, and there it's sleepy time for Trix. And first blood, the way of Mousesports.
That box trade that Dignitas goes for right at the beginning, they lose, and so Trix and Arkkyl are already a little bit weak. Mouse don't get the buff itself, but take the first blood afterwards. I wonder if Dig would rather have just gone to red buff and started there, give up purple, instead of allowing that sort of contest to happen. But credit where it's due to Dardez, that was all him with that body block on the Trix.
Sort of mistaken the dual lane, and obviously with the Sylvanas and a Jingwei, pressure is going to be in this lane for a long period of time now. Head over to the right-hand side, and this is going to be an interesting matchup. I don't even know how this goes. Achilles versus Zhong.
I'm not exactly sure either. All I know is I think Zhong Kui is really, really good right now. Like, one of the best gods in Smite good right now. The recent changes that he got, the extended stun on his 3 now, it goes up above 2 seconds, I think, with the card on it. The passive change where he doesn't, where he increase the number of stacks necessary and halved their effectiveness, but the same base level, you're getting 20 all prots whenever your passive is fully stacked. But now you don't need to 1-2 combo the wave anymore. And it's just everything dying around you. So you get a ton of extra protections for free.
Lovely pull there from Dardez. Going to get the beads out of Arkkyl, which was nicely timed, to be honest. But Spudio getting a little bit aggressive there. Isn't level 3, but realizing a lot of what Dignitas had to offer in this dual lane. They're going to be fine for now, though, and this is a good start from Mousesports, getting through the early game. Dignitas, though, are a patient team. They generally do just farm up in the early stages.
And they've got a great mid to late game
again.
Comp. Arkkyl again gets pulled in, knocked up. Dash should be up pretty soon, but the auto from Spudio is good enough. 2 quick kills in the dual lane for Mousesports, and that's no surprise. With Dardez and Jermaine, this was often happening, and now the synergy getting there with Spudio.
Well, we mentioned it on Esports Weekly as well about how Spudio has kind of revitalized this team. A lot of people talking about his ability, and rightly so. He's had some solid games as Spudio so far, but it just feels like revitalization for Mousesports, where they now seem to be putting the work in and, you know, taking it to teams. That's what you want to see.
Also, Dardez, man, what else can you say about this guy? I think he's been slept on for a while now as one of the best supports in the world, but I don't know how much longer we can really keep him out of that conversation, because he just continues to play better and better basically every week. And right there, I mean, the kills, both kills in the dual lane are set up by Dardez.
Yeah.
He pulls Arkyl's beads, pulls him again into the knockup. Dardez is playing at his highest level, and it's been really impressive.
Completely agree. I think Dardez is one of those players that his team kind of does him an injustice in the grand scheme of things. If he was on one of the big teams like Dig, like Energy, I think everyone would be singing his praises every single week. The guy's god pool is insane. Eclectic is what a lot of people would choose there. But it's insane. He really is. Can play anything that's required of him. But I tell you what, he always looks better on Guardians for me. He always looks better.
He does. And I mean, the Nox is very good, but the Guardians are always on point for him. Mechanically, he's probably one of the better players in the league mechanically, not just among supports, but this man can hit anything on anything with anything, and has proven that with how many weird picks he's gone for. Dardez is one of the most versatile players in the league, if not the most versatile player in the entire SPL.
Well, Jolane's been active, but the junglers not so much. They've just continued to farm up, both at level 5 now. Hobwa and Odin both have their ultimates available, and that's important for both those characters. Question is, do we see a Phantom this game? We should, right?
We will. We will pass level 12. I imagine it'll be Trixtank or Variety that picks it up. But until then, Cherryo's got opportunities to make plays with that Odin cage before that Phantom is available for Team Dignitas. And I expect to see him play aggressive because of it.
Talk about aggression. Variety's trying to keep the beatdown going on to Nika. The problem being is that the resustain options for Nika are solid. And we're getting to a point now where the Zhong's going to start getting a bit more physical defense. And this early aggression that Variety can put on is going to come to naught unless he can find a kill soon.
I wonder what Nika's going to build into with that Dynasty Plate helm. Could be a Celestial Legion helm, a pretty underrated item, I think, especially after the recent changes as Zyrhoes.
Oh, this is a big play.
Starting to charge that ultimate. Could just try and dive Nika here, who doesn't have any beads, remember. He went teleport.
I think they were thinking about it, but there's no vision on what's going on in the jungle. And with the blue buffs being up, they have an idea. QvoFred was making a rotation, meets Nika. Nika under pressure. Water hands off the mark, and the Odin ring is dropped. Qvo trying to buy some time, uses his ultimate, but the cord's still connected. Nika gets a kill, and Dignitas find themselves at a worse deficit.
Qvo just cannot take that fight 2v1 in an Odin cage at this point in the game. He doesn't have any sustain in his kit as is, and then you factor in that much guaranteed damage from Nika and Cherryo combined, it'll just be too much for him to handle, even with the help of Zyrhoes' ultimate.
Red buff will be stolen away by Mousesports, and this is all just factored into a nice little plan for them here. BigManTingz doing good things on the Discordia so far, just as we expected farming. It's all about Cherryo though. He's top of the experience chart right now, and Jungle Odin doing a very good job of things.
Ultimate used, but Spudio gets back to base right in time before Arkkyl is there to potentially punish. Spudio was very low on mana, but not all bad for Arkkyl. He gets to get back to wave at the cost of his ultimate, kind of a teleport-esque move for him in that spot.
Thinking about those two hunters as well, the Dignitas have here, Neith and Cherryo, both with globals in different forms, obviously, but they can coincide at the same time to really put some pressure on.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we don't maybe see some pressure on Nika and let... If anything, Variety should have almost sat back in this lane at this point now and let Nika be aggressive on the tower line a little bit more often so they can look for those ganks.
Yeah, it's not a bad point. You can really set up an easy kill for Arkkyl or for Zyrhoes with the help of each other's ultimates in that spot. And while that really helps out during the laning phase, I think it is some cause for concern when it comes to the team fighting phase, because neither Arkkyl nor Zyrhoes is going to have the same impact as, say, even an airstrike from Spudio potentially, or that golden apple from Discordia to really have that big late game oomph from their ultimate. I am
a little bit worried about Dignitas' comp though in terms of engagement potential, especially if we were talking a little bit about maybe seeing Trixtank go for the Phantom. He could really do with a blink here just to help his front line out of being the aggressor, because otherwise it's Variety diving in or QvoFred, not the prime target you really want every time.
Ooh. Qvo locked in that ring, help is coming, and Nika won't even need to be there. Cherryo finds that kill on a QvoFred. Bird Bomb did most of his work for him.
Almost to the point where you're thinking Qvo could have gone for Blink a little bit safer than the beads here to maybe get away from some of the damage. Stun comes out and connects at the same time. And now with this going on, it's 4-0 for Mousesports. This is beautiful. They steal away the blue buff too. Mouse are in control of this game, and Dignitas really on the back foot.
They really are. I mean, 4-0 so far, but it's not just that. It's the buff invades are starting to go Mousesports' way. That dual lane pressure has been really, really relevant so far in this game. And now we're starting to see it trickle over into that solo side. You have a great late game team fight with Mousesports' comp between the Discordia and the Zhonghui. Odin to corral everyone in. I think Mousesports is in a great spot to go for the late game, but they just have to be worried about this hop-off for QvoFred. As long as they continue to put pressure onto Fred, Mousesports is going to be in a great spot in this game. But if Fred gets to power farm a couple levels without any sort of pressure, this lead could evaporate very quickly.
Love the aggression from Spudio there against Arkkyl, forcing him to play defensively in this lane. When that crystal does get fired, it seems he's going to be dashing in. So a bit of a telegraph move there. Got to be careful about that. Nika now level 9. And as you expected, he's gone for that defensive option.
The Celestial Legion helmet. I think this is a really underrated item right now. It's just got to change where it wasn't really pickable before because Crusher passive would strip away these stacks. Now that isn't the case. So he gets a ton of physical protection, up to 90 off that first hit. And then every hit after that will strip 10 prots away. It's totally fine. That's a great item.
Weaver hits onto BigManTingz, and BigManTingz just eats it and walks away. No further follow-up from Dignitas. As the Gold Fury was looked at by Mouse, it's the Arkkyls that go the way of Mouse. They're extending their lead. About 2,500 gold at this point too. This is getting to be a very good position for Mouse here.
Zyrhoes' ultimate has never been able to be used aggressively. It's been used twice on the right to try and save Qvo. Neither was successful. And then that time he throws it at BigManTingz as a please don't do Gold Fury sort of option. And it works. It gets Mousesports off of Gold Fury, but doesn't really return anything else to Team Dignitas. Mousesports has been in control so far.
And the main thing about putting this Hebo behind as well, Agro, you mentioned in the focus from Mouse to make sure they keep Qvo down. He's the major magical damage that's going to be coming out from this team. So if he's behind, then he's not going to have the amount of damage you were hoping for. Yeah. Could cause a couple of problems for Dignitas here.
And even if this is the Bancroft's talent, which I expect for Qvo, when he's locked to that Odin cage, he won't get the benefit of that healing. He'll still get
that too, yeah.
The passive power that he'll get when he gets low, and that will be relevant in Odin Cage, but the sustain will not be.
Speaking about the Odin, though, Transcendence.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That's a hell of a lot of damage on those bird bombs now, then, as this game continues.
I like it. Now, Cherryo, this is enough damage from this item that now he can kind of go into defensive if he so chooses afterwards. It gives him CDR, just a disgusting amount of power in the early game. And if he's getting defense options that have mana attached, he's still getting some amount of power, because remember, Transcendence passive is that you get power based on your total mana pool.
Sure.
So that he can continue to get benefit from this, even if he's building tankier in the mid to late game.
Definitely a trade-off he's made there of more power for less cooldown reduction, because Jotuns would do a very similar function in the jungle here,
Yep.
but you don't get as much from it in terms of power. But, you know, have that ring up more often can be useful. Mouse, though, going the more aggressive route. Obviously, with that blink, he's got the options.
Well, another reason that he doesn't really need the pen so much is because Trixtank's going for Heart Rate Amulet, not Sovereignty. Nika in some trouble now on this right-hand side, but he just took 2 ultimates and took a third of his health. Like,
nice and tanky.
So tanky.
Zyrhoes, meanwhile, needs some tankiness. The bird bomb hits.
Man.
1 hit is all it takes, but Zyrhoes will escape. Where's a World Weaver? Where's a Morrigan? Just turn it to Neath quick, right?
So where's my new ult when I need it? Zyrhoes likely under 15 health in that spot.
An Archer's wet dream is what you could have said about that too. If it, just one single Archer was around, but obviously between the tier 1 and tier 2
I don't like to
tower.
think about the Archers dreaming, because then that makes me think that I'm killing their dreams every time I kill them.
They are all humans.
No.
Playing on the battleground of the gods. They
No.
don't get a choice either. Like, the worst thing is they spawn, they die. What a terrible life.
No, I think of them as like little robots, so I don't feel it.
Quvo could be in trouble. Spudio made a rotation early up from Quvo. Now down, great knockup from Spudio. And the follow-up is there. He'll clean them up before Zyrhoes can even make an impact. And Arkkyl jumps straight into the fray. But he may have to retreat because Mouse still on the aggression.
Man, Spudio's crits there coming up big, and that 8-pointed shuriken gets the job done for Spudio. Shout out to Explosive Bolts as well. That extra bit of crit chance, playing right with the build at the right time.
5-0 then for Mousesports, and this is their second Gold Fury attempt. Could be the first one to go down. Arkkyl is here, but pulled again, and the bead's consumed. BigManTingz and Cherryo will be very happy to know that Chernobog doesn't have those this time. As Arkkyl getting zoned away with the bird bomb, trapped in the ring, will stealthily hide inside the wall, but he's still trapped and brought down by all 4 members of Mouse.
Wow, I love this idea to go Jingwei into the Chernobog, because you can't really get away from that gust when coming out of the wall. Trix trying to step up. Dardez's ultimate not really fruitful there, but Variety has made this rotation over, and he's going to need to make plays.
Well, Bryce is going to be careful. Cherryo too far forward, gets eliminated thanks to the damage out of the Spirit Arrow and Zyrhoes. And with Nika turning up, a couple of ghosts, and well, those ghosts will be seen in your nightmares there, Trixtank, as his passive is consumed too.
Spudio continues to go aggressive onto Variety. One more auto should do it, but that combat dodge gets Variety out of range. Mousesports giving up on the dream of the Gold Fury right now, but not on this tier 1 tower.
Dardez and those pulls are insane here. Zyrhoes just have to use his beads too to escape. Tier 1 tower should surely fall. Spudio though can't find the final hit. QvoFred turns up just in time. But this whole game so far has been Mouse, Mouse, Mouse.
It really has been. Dardez has hit more pulls than ultimates in this game. He whiffed an ult on the right and whiffed an ult by Gold Fury, but his pulls have been phenomenal, so it's worked out so far anyways for Mousesports. But you already see where Dignitas has that patient nature that we understand it's going poorly now, but we can make plays in a little bit, and it won't take long for them to punish even the Odin or the Zhang Kui from Cherryo or Nika once Variety is involved in these fights. He comes over to 1 Gold Fury fight, and Dignitas get their first kill of the game, set up by Variety in his frontline presence. So Mousesports in a good spot right now, yes, but can't just sit on their laurels. They're going to need to continue to push this lead.
Dignitas really woken up slow here today as well, especially after, like we mentioned, losing to Energy and, of course, Rival last week has seen them fall to 3rd in the standings over in Europe now. And games like this are must-wins. You can't have situations where you're behind and losing against teams like Mouse, but Trix is still in trouble.
No ultimate hits there for BigManTingz. Trix baits out 2 ults and only has to trade out his ult in response, and honestly probably didn't even need that in that spot. Mousesports only catching Trix there, not quite good enough.
Pull off the mouth from Dardez that time. It's not going to get to say that at the moment, but the route will connect. However, the tower's already dead. Tier 1 falls in the mid lane. Tier 1 on the right-hand side as well. He's very close to falling. Mouse are in control.
You can tell that Quvo isn't too worried about the pace of this game because he's still going for that Warlock's 3rd item, and he's been loving this build as Hobwa jungle.
Qvo got spotted and he's not gone back for his second relic. And now Spudio will have to dash away off the knock-up out of Qvo. Pull this time from Dardez, didn't hit, but the damage over the wall from BigManTingz does. A sprint used there by Trixtank in the mid lane.
Really careful and really cautious about Nika's damage at this point. And this could be another Gold Fury attempt for Mousesports. Variety's here, and he'll eat that bird bomb. Cherryo's cage is coming up pretty soon. Variety doesn't have Phantom.
And Nika's also right behind. The ring does come out. No blink available. So the damage from Nika will be substantial. Nika picks up his third kill of the game. Gold Fury is going to drop for Mouse 2. This is getting out of hand quickly.
It really is, and it just feels like a kind of weird lack of respect almost from Dignitas to not go a Phantom for Variety at this point, because I guess it is that lack of initiation that you were talking about earlier. They feel like they need Variety to blink in and stun, but because of that, he'll never get out of an Odin cage when Nika's around. That's constant dot damage coming from the Zhonghui.
And now with this situation, Trixie's just trying to defend this Pyromancer. He's buying some time for his team. As the bird bomb hits the cord, he's going to slow him down too. But the chase won't continue. The main thing is Mouse get the objective, and it's very important they focus on the objectives after finding advantages.
And again, this Warlock staff for QvoFred, like he's already very far behind Cherryo, and then slows down his build even more.
But the health is really useful for Arkkyl.
It is, but you're not going to get that much health until later on. Look at Spudio with that Pyromancer buff, just so quick to chase down Arkkyl here. Qvo is coming on in this rotation, but Arkyl's already below half.
Spudio has a 3-level lead over QvoFred, and will use the airstrike and actually avoid the damage out from Qvo as he looks to take away the purple buff, but Spudio is back. Has some support from Dardez, and of course BigManTingz now flanking towards mid lane. So Qvo has to retreat for the time being. It's all about waiting now for Dignitas, really. Hopefully play the next 5 minutes without dropping a couple of kills.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're in a bad spot now for Dignitas because Nika is huge all of a sudden. He's 3-0, level 17 on this Zhonghui. I don't know who thinks they're killing Nika, but they probably aren't once he uses that ultimate and doubles his protections from his passive. That Celestial Legion Helm is just the perfect pickup against a pretty balanced and physical and magical team, but it'll remove the burst from, say, that World Weaver from Zyrhoes or the Blink Stun from Variety. It just makes him that much tankier.
Mouse came in with a real game plan today. Their picks and bans, as you can tell, it looks a little bit awkward, but it's a very nicely crafted composition that Dignitas have allowed them to put together here and not be able to find anything back, getting both Odin and, of course, Zhong. They really didn't care about Zhong, did they? They just ignored it pretty much, I feel like, with how they've picked and banned.
Yeah, it really hasn't been a lot of Zhonghui as of late, and I think Mouse has stumbled onto a gold mine and that more teams that will get along with, because I think Zhong's insane.
Cherryo on the front line, gets the ring down, traps in a couple of members, but not the ones they're really prioritizing here. In the sky, though, you saw Arkkyl use that ultimate very early on, worried about the all-in. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange in terms of ultimates.
Well, it did chase the blink out from Cherryo, who was worried that there was going to be a big initiation onto him. And I think that that's a warranted concern because there are so many blinks from Dignitas that if Arkkyl goes in and then gets followed up with double blinks from Variety and Qvo, Cherryo could have died very quickly.
My little giggle there is Dardez looking for those pulls through the wall, but it was sniffed out just about by Dignitas this time round. Only that 1 kill to their name so far for Zyrhoes, who is the Undying. He's one of the members of the team that generally is very hard to kill. He's probably one of the least dying mid laners, I think, in Europe.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he was near the top in that regard. Just it's so safe oftentimes. Not to say that he doesn't play aggressively at times either, but
calculated.
Particularly in the early game, is very wary of where he is and how his positioning could be capitalized upon. And even despite the lead for Mousesports, Zyrhoes is the one who has a lead in that mid lane. Has been doing solid damage as well. He's top of the player damage for Dig, but top of the player damage for Dig is still only good enough for 4th overall in the game. Nika, Spudio, and Cherryo have all had great performances so far.
Yeah, Spudio 4-0 now has his Poison Star online and the Executioner, whereas Arkkyl a little bit further behind than that at the moment. Is it going to be a Chins next? It looks like it is for Spudio.
Yes, I would. It could be an Aussie to go double lifesteal, but that would feel a little bit weird to me. I think it's more likely that we see the Chins pick up, just try and chunk through Variety. Poison Star normally crit plus Chins is a big non-bow. They don't really work well together, but Poison Star is so good, especially on Jingwei, who's going to get the increased crit chance anyways from explosive bolts. It's really there less about the crit and more about the chance to slow your opposition and lower their damage output more so than the actual crit itself.
Such an awkward position for Dignitas to be in at under 20 minutes now because of the fact all their tier 1 towers are down. They have no map control whatsoever, so just fighting for their own red and back harpies on the right-hand side is a tough task. Mousesports grouping up around that red buff just mentioned, and it's forcing Dig to just be patient and hopefully they can make something happen. Trick's going to leave the charge in, but at only level 11.
Oops.
He did at least force the ring out of Cherryo, who'll do a little jumping dance of celebration to recognize the mistake.
It happens, but Cherryo needs to be careful here. He's alone in mid lane. BigManTingz roots variety to keep him off of the jungler in the mid, so he'll stay safe. Red buff invade was successful by Mousesports. They're kind of playing it right now for this Gold Fury that just respawned. They didn't feel far enough ahead to go for Fire Giant right away. This is a safer call.
Heads up that red wasn't stolen.
Oh,
Qvo did manage to defend it, but they can't defend the Gold Fury. Mousesports get a second one. That one completely uncontested. 8,000 gold. 8 kills in the lead. That's 1,000 gold a kill is what it's working out at if you do some basic math. That's a really good situation. I'm so surprised by this game.
Dignitas just seems a little bit flat this game, don't they? They're,
sleepy.
Yeah, they're just coming out, and I mean, they picked the Kumba, but they all feel pretty sleepy right now.
And they all started in the dual lane where things didn't go well at the start, but I don't think that was the be-all and end-all of this game whatsoever.
No, I think that Nika has been a real impact on this one. His team fight presence has been so strong, and it's a big reason why Dignitas likely feel like they can't fight. It's because they know they don't have the damage to really kill Nika right now.
Fire Giant attempt by Mouse, and Dignitas haven't really smelt this one out yet because Cherryo is keeping Qvo and Arkkyl busy on the left-hand side. Taking into account there is a Chernobog with Arkkyl, though, who could try and get over here, but he's got no ultimate. They're diving onto Cherryo instead. It's a good pick to find a kill as Nika now going to teleport in, and he gets the card on Arkkyl.
Arkyl's in a lot of trouble. Aegis, look at this stun duration forever in the grave. Nika gets that kill. Spudio finds Qvo on the top side as well. I wasn't a big fan of Mousesports all backing up once Cherryo died, even though they had the 4v3 on that side of the map. But when you've got teleport and Jingwei passive, it worked out nicely for them.
So 2-for-1 exchange. Fire Giant still stands, however. But Dignitas found a tier 1 tower of their own by pressuring that mid lane as the rotation from Mouse went to the left-hand side. Now they're trying to answer it back in the mid lane, though. Dardez and Spudio grouped up, whacking away on the tier 2 tower. Don't have any minions here, but Lotus Crown makes you tanky enough for a couple of shots at least.
Variety teleporting in to try and put some defense here. Trix finds all 3 with the Mez, but
no follow-up.
No follow-up.
No one's around to be able to follow up aggro. That's the worst thing. What did Dig need to do here?
Hope that Qvo finishes Soul Reaver really soon and one-shot someone.
Well, Dardez going to try and make sure that's not available, but Trixtank escapes the damage of the follow-up from the Wrath of Terror used by Dardez there. Variety and Zyrhoes are both level 18. Behind their counterparts at the moment, 19 for the BigManTingz and 20 for Nika on that Zhonghui.
Man, it really has been mostly the Zhong in my mind. It's been Spudio and Nika who have really impressed me so far in this game. Cherryo's done a great job, of course, but this Zhonghui has just felt unkillable, has been doing so much damage. The book, like I said, you get 2.2 second stun if you have them carded, and it does a ton of damage. Book of Demons actually does more damage than Exorcism, which feels a little bit, which caught me by surprise when I realized that, but it's true. This is an insane kit now for Zhonghui. So tanky, he does a lot of damage. He brings so much to these team fights.
So with the Book of Demons, and you're talking about, you know, the fact that it's going to do more damage, should you be maxing that?
No, because it's still not safe. It's not safe enough because it's still such a small area right around you. You still need to be able to clear the wave a little bit safer. I think there's probably an argument to be made to leveling the 1 first with the Expose Evil, because that does act as your safest form of wave clear. The problem is that Exorcism heal scales with level ability with the per rank as well, and oftentimes you need that sustain in lane.
Definitely got the decisions kind of change on, right?
Yes, I think that you might want to level the ult last these days, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Maybe
tough cut now.
Normally you level the 1 right after Exorcism. There's probably a sweet spot where leaving Exorcism at like 3 points, something like that is right. I don't know.
Variety going to blink in, find out the Fire Giant is low, but he's not going to be able to do anything about it going down. Arkkyl jumps in, but the ghosts are here, and Nika's just running at the carries. He ate a lot of damage, but immune some of it now as well. Nika may fall, but Variety is in a lot of trouble thanks to Spudio. Spudio will make sure that happens. Nika, though, he's still alive before he fell. He took out Arkkyl.
Wow, carded him right before he went into the grave. Qvo gets a nice heal off the speed buff, courtesy of his Bancroft's talent, and that should buy him enough space, but Cherryo still hunting on the right.
And on the right-hand side, the backflip used by Zyrhoes nicely to avoid the bird bomb, but he can't avoid the auto-attacks. And the Aegis will be forced. Cherryo going to get hit by a couple of Phoenix shots, thanks to the slows coming out there from Cumber Corner. But it's all about the tier 2 tower with Fire Giant on 4 members, aggro. This is looking great for Mouse.
It really is, and Nika has teleport once he respawns too, so he can join this fight right away. He was able to sell his Warrior's Blessing and pick up a whole Midgardian mail, which he died to double hunters there. It's going to be a lot harder next time.
Trix goes in to slow them down, and the apple will hit Trix, and Trix will fall. Meanwhile, on the backside of this, Cherryo trying to deal with Zyrhoes and Quvo, buy enough time to actually escape. The last Phoenix shot will connect, though. Nobody could help him out, but the Phoenix falls.
Nika can be here at a moment's notice if necessary, but Mousesports playing it a little bit slower now. Won't need him right away, so we can save that teleport for a rainy day whenever he needs it. Gold Fury's up now for Mousesports if they so choose. It looks like Dignitas might be trying to rush it down before Mouse can get there because they just desperately need some gold. I mean, not a lot of 5th or 6th items even completed for Dignitas yet.
But not when you're 14,000 gold down. This game 1 is looking more and more likely like it's going to be Mouse at the moment. This Gold Fury, though, will go to Dignitas. No one here for Mouse in the area to contest in time. And like you said, very important gold.
Does get Zyrhoes a little bit closer to his Jotun's Wrath or Brawler's Beatstick, whatever he wants to pick up. Variety likely wants to get a winged blade to deal with the constant slows that Nika has been providing on this Zhang Kui. Trixtank desperately needs a Spirit Robe or a Mantle of Discord. Either one could really help him out in this spot. So Dignitas is getting closer, but losing that right side Phoenix is going to be difficult to come back from.
Now it's just a waiting game. See what Mouse choose to do next. They've not got many options, however, how the state of the map is. Just 2 Phoenixes and 1 tier 2 tower remaining. So more than likely the focus will be on that tier 2 tower. Itemization just coming along nicely, mainly for Mousesports now, as most of them are achieving full build here.
They are, but QvoFred is nearly done with that Warlock staff, has Soul Reaver, and just finished Obsidian Shard. So Quvo's damage is all of a sudden much more relevant than it was in that last team fight. He is still the key in this game. If he can make a big play, then Dignitas still has a shot.
Let's find out what happens at this left Phoenix then. Cherryo in the meanwhile is in the mid lane, pressuring that a little bit more, but Quvo going to rotate over early. Phoenix down to half health as the minion wave comes in and is cleared quickly by the 2 hunters. Quvo knocks up Nika for a damage check, finds out that Nika's still healthy and tanky. The split is actually starting to cause some problems for Dig.
Zyrhoes charging that ultimate, could be looking for Cherryo, but decides against it. Blink forward from Dardez. Golden Apple hits Zyrhoes.
And it hit Arkkyl too,
no.
And Arkkyl's under pressure. He's going to fall down in the sky. 2 carries are off the map, and Mousesports could take game 1.
Oh, they've got game 1 in the bag, and they made it look easy too, man. The Zhang solo looks great for Nika. Cherryo looks good. Spudio 7-0. What a debut sort of split it's been for him.
Yeah, Mouse is actually looking really strong here. These adjustments, Jermaine taking a step away, has kind of made Mouse improve drastically in the summer split.
They really have. The whole team just looks better, and you called it earlier, the revitalization of Mouse. Is Spudio outright better than Jermaine? Right now, yes, but maybe not overall as a player, at least during Jermaine's height. But the rest of the team just seems to get a new life, a new lease with Spudio in that duo lane. Dardez continues to impress. The whole team is just clicking at a much better pace.
Really, really is. It's great to see too. Who do you guys at home think deserves MVP for that first game? Duo lane at the start really led by example.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the team followed it up.
They did. I think that Nika's a really good vote for MVP. I think that Dardez also got off to that great start in the duo lane and was able to set up a lot for them in the mid to late. I think either one of those is a fine choice.
What a time to be alive. Nika getting potentially voted for MVP. We'll find out. The desk is here to break it down.
That one was very interesting. I think if you are just joining us and you see Mouse beat Dig, you ask sort of what went wrong. And although on second glance, I'm not as thrilled with Dignitas' draft as I was originally totally, this was just a fantastic feature by Mousesports. And I think proof that this team is kind of the real deal.
I agree with you. Everything just went right for Mousesports since the beginning of the game. Spudio on the Jingwei, which is more of a passive kind of god, got off to a great offensive start, getting 2 early kills set up by Dardez on the Sylvanas, who I thought was going to get focused the entire game. The draft from Dignitas dictated that kind of playstyle, but getting caught in these Odin cages, QvoFred did not have a good game.
I mean, you can try and focus Dardez all you want, but at the end of the day, if his team is the one making the advances, you just don't have that luxury. Nika comes out on top, most valuable player, the solo lane Zhonghui, and what a build that was. Had a Void Stone, had a Celestial Legion Helm, but other than that, I mean, Gem of Iso for the control, Spear of the Magus for the damage, and also the damage for his teammates as well. This is one of my favorite characters in the game right now, with a build that I absolutely love. It speaks to what the character does. I love it totally.
We might be going back to Season 2 days where Zhonghui was really popular after this kind of MVP performance, and that was the time of the Isises versus the Zhonghuis. We might see this again. And doing wonderful stuff, Nika making his rotations and his presence really felt. QvoFred, he tried to gank him in the early game, but couldn't really find the kills. Cherryo was there with the rings. Unfortunately for Dignitas, no Phantoms up until level 12 Trixtank. It takes a while for that to be used defensively, and as a result, Cherryo helped set up a lot of kills.
Game